here today.
We took in this home.
You kind of got sentimental on us last night.
And this is your uncle's.
But I can see smoke around here.
Now you know who she is, don't you? Yeah.
It's been a long time since you've been down here, would you come by and see?
I knew you call my name.
What's her name?
This is Larry. No, she's small. Young person.
Did you come by yourself? There's a fountain of youth that they in or made.
When they start to get together, thanks.
You're my second cousin. I'm Anna I remember my mother.
I think when they started middle school, they started.
So
you'd have to come. But they didn't want you to be on the visit.
We went up there and lived with them until my husband.
Did you get any wind damage
And
from it?
then we got no damage. We got downstairs and everything. And she was upstairs. She was leaving the downstairs. One of here above us, and they
I read that in the paper. But we figured that it missed him. We'd have heard something.
War was on.
Saturday weekend of next year, same as this. Third Saturday.
They're following around here.
Sign up there, fella.
Even open there and then they write it.
Where's Dee?
Where's Dee? He goes to the car, I go get him.
He may be in the restroom.
I've got his eating tent.
He may want out the car.
Well, while we're waiting on him, I'll just get up here and shoot.
Jimmy, come up here and go around the circle.
I can get up here. I'll do the other side of the table first.
Jimmy, mind your own.
What is your name, sir?
I'm Dick Roberts. I'm married to Marie Nichols
Dick
Roberts.
Roberts, all right?
Irving, Texas.
Irving, Texas. That's F. Carter.
He strictly does his own thing.
Okay, Clara, who are you?
Clara Bettis from Batesville, Arkansas.
Beaufort.
Come on.
Got her to get over here in the middle so you can pan her all the way around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming.
Okay.
And who are you?
Tell your name when you're coming through.
This is a patriarch, VanWinkle patriarch right here.
He's Aubrey VanWinkle from Bay, Arkansas.
What we want to do, everybody join hands.
And
We're so
Reuben
thrilled
from
that
Troy, Missouri.
my nephew Billy Rogers Dyson and Sharon, his wife, is here.
Tell 'em who
First
you are.
time in a long time, and we're going to ask him to offer thanks for the food. Everybody,
Barbara, she makes all this possible at Bettistown, Arkansas. Okay.
Buton Simpson.
Buton.
Mildred.
Wait, I don't have this thing set just right. Let me fix it. Yeah, I will. Just start right here and go on around.
She done got me, Aunt Georgia. This way.
I don't think it's going. You want me to say who I am?
I go up to somebody and I say, I just need a hug.
Another half hour and I'll be laying back there.
I'm gonna get a plate for you.
I just want to start snacking.
Once you get used to that laser print,
Printer's not cracking.
I added a laser printer in my office about 9 months ago, almost a year. And then, like I say, once you get used to that, the others just junk. You just
In our departmental office,
yes, Larman VanWinkle. I'm the son of Larman Marshall VanWinkle. Oh, it is.
You better start getting everybody.
I have already told him.
Oh, you are. You have.
Hungry than wants to.
Let's go down this way and get us a plate.
Tell that cameraman to get out of the way.
They're handy.
yeah.
They're handy.
And once you get used to doing that, typing out command seems so
Yeah.
You get used to dragging and clicking.
Well, I worked with the dog
How'd you do that?
about 5 years, I guess. Maybe it's 6. I don't know. I got kind of sidled over into the back. And I just got brought
Must have
in.
been in Little Rock when I saw you when you were just really getting into Mac. I found some command, sometimes it's a little quicker to do it rather than get up and hang it down. You can go either way. All the programs are very much like that. And I'm married to Aubrey's daughter, Nancy. Today we're on May 18th at the VanWinkle reunion, and we have here some of Gaither's children that we would like to, each of them introduce themselves and tell something about what you're doing now. First, Lloyd.
I'm Gaither's oldest boy, Lloyd. One of 4 boys, and we have 6 sisters, and we have 3 of them here today.
I'm Buton Simpson. I'm in the middle of Gaither VanWinkle's kids. And I live in Salem, Arkansas.
I'm Frances McCracken, and I guess she and I are the middle ones. And I also live in Salem, have for 3 years. I have 2 children, a son and a daughter, and 1 grandson. This is Mildred.
I'm Mildred Covey. I'm Gaither's girl, Steve. And I've been at work for 10 years, and I'm just a grandmother.
Could you tell us a little more about your family, who you're married to, and your children, and what they're doing? This is for history.
For history.
I have a son that lives in Salem, and he has 4 girls. And his wife works, and he works.
Okay. Like I said, I have a son and a daughter, and 1 grandson.
And who you're married to?
And I'm not married.
Oh, you're not married. Okay.
I'm not married. And my son is Dino McCracken, and he's in the Air Force making a career of it. And he spent the past 9 months in Saudi Arabia. And my daughter, she works for Commonwealth Title Service in Indianapolis, Indiana. And she's pregnant right now, and August I'll have another grandbaby.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, I've got 3 children, Margaret and James and Kelly. 1 daughter, 2 sons. And I've got 13 grandbabies. So needless to say what I do when I can. I play with the grandbabies. My oldest son is an electrician, my daughter's a nurse, and my youngest son is a broker. And they all live in the Indianapolis area.
I have 2 daughters and 3 granddaughters. The oldest daughter is a school teacher in Hamu, California. The youngest daughter works in Portland, Oregon. And they have a house up there, and thank God they got good health. And they're doing fine.
Maybe one of us should name off the other. There's 3
There are
more.
a few others.
There's 3 other sons. Of course, Lloyd's the oldest.
Well, missing is 3 boys. Billy and Bobby is the youngest of the clan, 47 years old. And the tallest of the clan is missing W.S. VanWinkle. He lives in Arcadia, Indiana. Missing is Theta. I don't know her last name.
Ely.
Haley. She lives in Arcadia. Missing is Clary. She lives in Marion. And missing is Lois. She lives in Gas City. Is that all of them?
That's all of us.
Okay.
Tim's still living, and we got Mama over here in a. I'm sorry she's not here today, but Mama's over here in a nursing home in Cave City.
She's in good health.
And she can't walk, she can't get out of bed, she can't get into a wheelchair or nothing like that. But Lord, she's sharp in the head.
Sharp as a tack.
She's sharp in the head, and that's to be thankful for.
What is her first name?
Leslie. Leslie.
How old is she?
85, I believe.
80s.
85, I believe. But but I tell you, that home over there is really a nice home. They have very good clean rooms, good care, and it's unfortunate to have to
They're
go.
doing more for her than we could.
But you know, she can't get out of bed. She can't get into her wheelchair. So it became necessary, about just 1 year ago, to put her for her to go to a home. She has to be with somebody all the
Her
time.
mind's outlasted her body. Her body's broken down, but her mind is sharp.
Arthritis got her. Arthritis.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's a good history. Now, we want to go back here and get some of the, I won't say older, but the other members of the, we'll say the first members of the VanWinkle family, the brothers and sisters there. So we'll just move back here of Bill VanWinkle, and we're going to ask them to tell us something about what they've been doing, their families and everything now. So okay.
Marshall's going to talk.
Start with Marshall.
Huh?
I said, Marshall.
I'm in the middle here.
You can talk pretty far.
You talk,
Yeah.
you get down there and talk.
Yeah.
Have you talked, think, can't talk.
Well, he talked last year real good. I just viewed that film yesterday with Steve. You talked good.
Yes, you did.
Say the same thing you did last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandpa.
You know yourself better than I know. Aubrey can talk and give him a little time to start. He's the oldest one of us, 81. 81 years old, my brother. Are you 81 or 82? 82 birthday. Well, my brother Aubrey is the oldest in the family that's now living. And he is a retired farmer, elder of the church, some 45 years at the same church. Been very dedicated, religious, and devout Christian. And he's in his second childhood. That's where he don't like to talk. I remember down at Bay, visiting him down there, and he kept talking about those senior citizens we got down here in this congregation. I said, well, when are you going to start including yourself in that? Because he's one of them. We got a lot of older people, he said, down there in the church.
Not many now.
Not many now.
About 4 couples.
4 couples. Well, Aubrey's a very fine Christian man. I'm proud to be his brother. And what he doesn't say himself, well, his action will speak for him. Actions speak louder than words.
Praise or half scandal.
Yeah, I know.
Ask if he remembers anything about Grandpa VanWinkle.
She wanted to know if you know anything about Grandpa VanWinkle.
Do I know anything about him?
You know, can you relate anything that funny that happened during your childhood?
Tell about that window he cut in that house.
Might not get all the facts straight.
Well, that's all right. Just what you remember.
He built a log house when he homesteaded land and bought some land there.
Where was that at?
It's on Strawberry River.
On the highest hill it was around.
Huh?
It's on the highest hill.
Yeah, on the highest hill. You had to go down the hill to get water. I did that myself, son.
What did the house look like?
Log house. One big room in the shed when the kitchen was a shed when lean-to called it.
How many children was in Grandpa's family?
I'm afraid to say because I don't really know.
I think it was
20-something, wasn't it?
around 19 he raised, wasn't it?
Up to 18 to 25, somewhere on there. And counting, the last count, children that were stepchildren. He had 4 different women that had children. And then him and that same 4 women had children. And so he had a whole group of children.
Did he have a nickname?
Oh, not that I know.
I heard they called him Rip.
Most all of us didn't call that.
Wally Red VanWinkle. My grandfather was a self-sufficient farmer. You could build a fence around his farm and he could survive. He had cattle, he had hogs, he had land, he had honey. He had honey he had out in his hives, barrels of honey, all kinds of fruit. Had his own blacksmith shop. Anything he wanted, he made. All his neighbors came and he made things for them on the farm. And he was a man that was a man of few words. He never talked much, but he's a man that was 4 square. Very devout Christian. And he used to ring the bell in this building here. And he was the first one to arrive at church here, and he'd ring the bell, and he'd walk and push the bushes back out of the way on rainy days. And he was always here. And I remember when he was almost deaf, he was right up close to the pulpit doing this, straining to hear every word. He loved God's word. And that's saying a whole lot right there. Anybody else want to say something? Huh?
You just go ahead.
I can't for everybody.
Dwight, tell us about your life.
I'm so old, I can't.
That's all
really,
right.
really.
They'll get closer.
Well, my brother Dwight here has been retired a time or two, but he's still working at the State Hospital in Jonesboro. During the service in World War II, he and I and Dee all went overseas. Dwight was a medical technician. He could take vital signs and all that, and he was a first aid man on the front line. When anybody got shot and they hollered for the first aid man, regardless of how many bullets were flying, he went to them. He went in one foxhole where two men had lost their leg, and he saved their lives by binding them up. I'm telling you, talk, I'll do it. Then, when he got shot, he saw the man. He saw the man that shot him. Two different places. He saw the man that shot him. And he asked his captain, said, "Who shot you?" And he's pointed to that man right over there. And so his captain shot this German right between the eyes. Dwight got up and walked back to the back lines to the battalion hospital, wasn't it? Battalion hospital with two bullet holes through his stomach and one through the arm right in the Red Cross. They shot him right in the Red Cross in his arm and then through the stomach. He lost about 50 pounds, had a high fever, and he was shipped back to the States. He don't want you to tell her
This is
this, but
all
I just want.
interesting. This is all interesting.
He's a quiet person,
Yes.
but anyhow, strong when action.
Amen.
There's old sweet sister right here. Mine's the youngest one. I saw her baby sister, and she's 63 years old. 63 years old. But she is a darling. All my sisters are darling.
If you talk like that, you can talk for me.
Georgia, nobody will talk
Claire's the youngest one. I want to say something about this girl. I can remember when she was a baby in diapers. She never gave nobody any trouble. One of the sweetest disposition persons I ever knew, right here. I mean that. She never gave Mama one minute's of trouble. My mother. My mother was wore out after having 14 kids, and she needed rest. And this sweet sister of mine didn't give her any trouble. And most even tempered disposition person that I know of. And I love her a bushel and a peg. And she's married to Buford Bettis. He's retired from General Motors. And about the second time they called him back, and they lived in Batesville, Alabama for what, 5-10 years, something like that? 6, 7 years. Yeah. Buford's here, around here somewhere.
Now tell us about yourself.
Thank you.
Blank.
No. Do a job on yourself like you did us.
I get embarrassed when I...
Well, let Georgia talk for you.
I'm in between here.
George, you want to
I said it all last year. 74 years old. You know what that reminds me of? The first car I ever rode in when I was a little boy. My brother had a black T-Model D, a black T-Model Ford. He came out to our house, and when I was riding that down the fence rows, just country lanes out there on the farm, the fence rows, those fence rows just doing like that. And I wasn't going but 20, 25 miles an hour. Those fence posts are just clicking off. That's the way my ears are doing now. I can't slow them down to save my life. Now, Obi may have found out how to do it. I can't slow them down. They just, one family reunion to the next is no time at all. And one birthday to the next is no time at all. And I just have to say, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. That's the only thing I can say about it.
Tell us what you worked at all your life.
I worked at Sears 33 years, almost 33 years. I've been retired 10 years. Ooh, 10 years I've been retired.
How many
What do
years
you
you
do
been
with your
preaching?
spare time?
The 30 this July the 1st.
How many people have you baptized?
Oh, I don't keep up with them, but quite a few.
About 1,000?
What do you do on the side that you've never asked any pay
Without
for?
pay.
What'd you start saying?
Here.
Huh?
Tell us about
Did you start saying something, Harvey?
No, I just said, most of that is without pay.
Yeah, I don't, it's a labor of love with me, I don't want money. Now, Africa and Italy, and it wasn't always, because anything you learn by life is worthwhile, something you won't lose. So I did learn some things, and in some ways it was just like a blank taken out of my life, about 4 years taken out of my life, and I can't account for it. But anyhow, I'm thankful to God I came back without being shot up like Dwight was, and made it all right. Yes.
I went to South Africa after you.
Yeah.
While I was over there.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I went to South Africa after Marshall come back. I was going to Australia. I'm the 12th in line.
I said South Africa, I meant North Africa.
You went to
North Africa, yeah.
12th in line. Paris 14. There's a baby Ruth.
Talking
that
out.
died.
Talking out, Georgia.
Yeah.
Don't be bashful.
That's something someone tell me to talk loud. Anyway, I live in Springfield. I've lived there for 45, almost 50 years.
Missouri.
Yes, Springfield, Missouri. Still raising kids. I've been a mama for 44 years. I've been a mama. I've never had an empty nest. And my last one is standing up there operating that camera. And when I get through with him, I'm going to quit.
Said there once before.
Yeah.
He said
Tell us about the children's home.
Yes, I worked for the children's home for about 20 years, taking care of children there.
What's the name?
Fairhaven Children's Home. Just saw one of the little boys that come to Springfield a few nights ago. We were having a lectureship, and one of the little boys that come to us when he was 15, and he had long, blonde, stringy, dirty hair, and he had love beads on, and he was a little hippie from head to toe, and he was barely stank. He hadn't had a bath on when, and he wasn't afraid of God or man, and he didn't believe in God in the first place. And I thought, well, it'd be impossible for us to ever keep him. Just impossible. Well, he called from Cuba, Missouri the other day. He was trying to get a hold of us, said he was coming to the lectureship and wanted to be sure the Harrises was there. And he preaches for the church in Cuba, Missouri. And my Bill baptized his little wife. So things like that make us very proud. Anyway, I live in Springfield, and Dee lived in Sedalia, and Marshall lived in Little Rock. So I kind of kept track of Dee up in Sedalia, and Marshall always called me from Little Rock, and I'd call him once in a while, and he'd report on Dwight and Aubrey and their family. And that's kind of the way we, and Claire, because Claire won't call, and Claire won't write, and Aubrey won't call, and Aubrey won't write, and Dwight won't call, and Dwight won't write. So Marshall, he keeps up with them, and he reports to me, and then I take it and I report it to Lucy May. And
Let me give this a defense. Let me give this a defense of Aubrey. When that tornado went across Twin Lakes where I live, he was concerned enough about it, but he thought I might have been destroyed in that tornado, and he called me. Amen. One time.
Dwight called not so much.
Black called him. Black called me once in a while. Yeah, Black does.
So anyway, that's the way we keep track of the family.
I didn't tell about my family. Gracie, my beloved wife, is here, and Larman is here, and Phyllis is here.
Yeah.
The rest of the 3 adopted children are not here today. Any of them are here.
You have a grandson here too, don't you? Do you have a
Yeah, my grandson.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't forget your grandson.
Larman D. Jr. I don't know what he said.
He's standing
I
right
don't
there.
know.
I got him.
We'll get him in a minute. I have an adopted son in Springfield, Missouri, and my husband's here with me, but the adopted son didn't come. And just recently, he's almost 39 years old, and just recently, I'd asked him several times to try to find his mother, and he had 4 sisters. And I asked him several times to look them up because I felt like that Bill and I were getting older, and it wouldn't be long he wouldn't have us and he wouldn't have anyone. So I kept asking him, and he never would do it. So I decided I'd do it for him. And I run an ad in the paper and found his mother. She's in her 80s, and I found his dad out in Arizona, and I found his 3 sisters. One of them's already dead, but I found his 3 sisters. One of them lives in Nixa, which is about 20 minutes away from Springfield. And his other sister lives in Chicago, and one lives in Colorado, and his mother lives in Colorado. So I turned up all of his family.
Daddy's still living too.
His dad's living in Arizona. He was real proud of that.
Were they interested in hearing from him?
Yes, very, very excited about finding him. Very excited about finding him. Because the girls had remembered that their mother had given away the baby. The last one was born. And the others were all girls, and they realized they had a brother they had never seen. So.
You took him to the hospital about 3-4 days, sis?
Yeah.
3-4 days, she took him from the hospital. The mother didn't see him, did she?
I don't think so.
I don't think the
She
mother
knew he was a boy.
knew his boy, and that's all.
And anyway, his mother, he got a letter from his mother a few days ago, and he called me and told me that he heard from her, got some pictures from her, and he would bring the letter over and let me see it. So he did. Brought the pictures and the letter over. She's, I think, 81, 27th of this month.
Yes, you or George, you want to speak for Dave?
Well,
Yeah, that's what I said. He lived in Sedalia, and he has 3 kids. 4. He has Junior, and he has Jerry, and he has Becky. Becky looks more like VanWinkle. Yeah, really, she looks like grandmother. Very pretty brown eyes, long brown hair, curly. And he's got some grandkids. He's got 2 grandkids. 3. Becky's got 2, and Jerry's got 1, and Junior's got 1. No?
Junior's not married.
No, Junior's not married now, but he has been.
I didn't know he'd ever been married.
Yeah, Junior was married, wasn't he, honey? Yeah. Jerry's not married.
Oh,
Jerry's not married, but Junior is, and Jamie was. Jamie's not now. That's Virginia's boy. And he's been a salesman all of his life. He'd come down through Springfield on his way here to there at the other place, and he'd stop by and see me. Sometimes he'd bring me down to see Dad before Dad died. And
Sold insurance, didn't he?
sold insurance. He worked hard. He worked ever since he was out of service. That's all he ever did, I guess, really for very long was insurance. He got
What
it
part of
for
service was he in?
Air Force. In Germany,
England.
England, yeah, in England. France. Yeah, Force. 8th Army Air Force. Air Corps. 8th Air Force. In England. Okay. Anyway, he's worked all of his life, been a salesman. And he could sell insurance. Made a lot of money, didn't he, son? It all went, but we made a lot of money. And I seen his kids, good-looking kids.
I guess it's just well to say that he's had a cancer operation. He's lost his vocal
Yeah.
cords, and
Been fighting that
he was on the operating table 15 hours. 3 doctors working on him for 15 hours. And according to Lloyd, they said that he made them look good, because he came out of it so well. What was it, 6 weeks you went home, didn't you, brother? 6 weeks' time with all that serious operation, you went home.
16 days.
16
days.
Days.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lord. 16 days he went home. He's a tough old mule, that's all I can say about it.
He's been fighting that for a long time. Back several years ago, I had thyroid cancer and had my thyroid removed. It was no time at all until Dee was down in Springfield, and he used the doctor that I used, and he operated on him. And he had thyroid problem. And then shortly after that, he developed a lung problem. Then he went to California to Veterans Hospital
La Jolla.
to La Jolla.
La Jolla.
And he's been out there ever since, off and on. He has to go in, be worked on, and then come out again. And the first thing you know, he goes back in. So you've lived a long time with it, haven't you? I had that thyroid cancer 30 some odd years ago, so you can live with it a long time. Yeah, you were 50 years old. I remember that.
When he first got it?
When he come down to Springfield?
20 years ago, 21 years ago.
50. I said it's 50.
I know, but it's 21 years
Yeah.
ago. He's 71 now, say 21
Yeah.
years ago when he first got it.
So it's been a long time. I don't know what else to tell you.
That's pretty good. Very good.
Like
I'm
reading
sure
the comic
everybody will
book over and over,
appreciate
what can you learn that you read?
Just a bunch of tough old birds.
Thank you.
And one thing I can say, none of my family is feuding. The Hatfields and McCoy feuded for 20-something years over one pig. And we're not feuding, none of
I didn't know they knew what they feuded over.
They said it was over.
Usually, those things get started. After a while, nobody remembered how it started.
I didn't get the Twyla on the tape, but I did have a daughter. My only natural child was Twyla's daughter. And she lived to be 26. She and her husband killed in a car accident, and that's the reason we're raising Damon.
And she was another personality, a whole lot like Claire. It's just, ain't nobody no trouble.
Never.
Loved her dearly.
I believe you look better with your hands down.
Well, they wouldn't be saying thanks for that good meal, you know, let them back.
His family, at least half of it, this is his oldest child, a daughter, Nancy Louise, and his wife, Orme. And they've been married for how many years? 59 years. Nancy and I have been married for 37, it seems like longer. They, even though I'm not a VanWinkle, I'm more like a VanWinkle. I don't talk much. She does the talking for the family, and all I have to do is say uh-huh and uh-uh once in a while. But we live in Searcy, Arkansas, and I teach in the communications department at Harding University. And we'll be retiring in 4 years when our son graduates. He's going to graduate, and so am I. They have a son, John, who lives in Derby, just outside of Wichita, Kansas. And John is married and has 2 daughters. We have 3 children spread out all over. We have a daughter who is 33 and teaches for a Christian school in New Orleans. We have a son who's 28 and works for Vanderbilt University in Nashville. And then our last son is a senior and will graduate in a week. And that's why I'm not retired, because I've got to work till he graduates from college. But hopefully he'll be graduating in about 4 years. He's better. And then we can settle down and experience the empty nest syndrome.
Go to making a garden.
The old boy told me, making a garden.
Yeah, I probably will. Okay,
As far as I know, we're finished.
that's enough fuss.
She talks slow.
And my father had 15 children. And 2 of them were
Oh,
younger than me, so that made me number 13. When he and my mother married, she had 4 children. And we had 5 sons and 2 daughters. So my half-sister's name was Moore. My half-brother's name on my father's side was Dudley. And when they got grown, they married. They were a stepbrother and sister, but he was my half-brother and she was my older sister. And so that made it kind of difficult for me to know what their children were. I guess they were 2 halves. At least half on each side of the family. So anyway, my father was born in 1855. September 30th. He passed away on September 17th. Congregation here, it was not in this house, but he was very he would come over here and ring the bell. Sometimes another person maybe have services. Sister when I was 16. When I was 17, and I worked in factories there by day and went to night school at night. And I always wanted to be a nurse. And people were telling me, oh, you can't do it, you can't do it. I was like the little kid that said, I think I can. And I can afford you. And working. And then when the Second World War started, nursing shortage was so bad that they started training nurses in St. Louis. And I was in one of the first classes. And when I finished that class, I've been working in a big hospital. It was on the 11th shift. It didn't work out well. So I decided to quit. And they asked me what I was going to do. And I said, well, I'm going to work in the doctor's office. But I didn't have any prospects. So one night I answered the weekend. I answered 3 doctor's offices. I kept one asked. And on Wednesday afternoon, I got a telephone call from the doctor who lived. His office was near downtown. Kind of interrupted me, but he was a very good man, and he said, he told me what he needed, and I said, well, doctor, I really wanted to work 3 days a week. He said, yes, but I need somebody to work 5 days a week. And he said, would you try working 5 days a week? And I told him, well, I think that. He said, do you want to come down tomorrow and go to work? I didn't want to because he had no where he was in a country neighborhood and I didn't know whether he was covered or not, so I wouldn't. I said, no, I'd rather come down and and looked the situation over and talked to him first. He said, well, come on down. And I went down that afternoon. And he was a very fine white man with sandy hair, and a big man, friendly and nice talking. He said, if you can help, well, you're just what I need. So this way at first, and then when I was going to school, high school, I learned to calculate. So it was no problem. And I started working for him on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay, how long did that about?
He paid me for half of the week. He paid me for half the week, and then I worked for years. Week's pay.
When did you move to Arkansas?
Well, that's,
Come on, you've been doing it, go to go.
well, anyway, then my husband had a bad heart. And he couldn't work anymore, and he wanted to move back to Arkansas. So we moved back. And then I worked at the until I was 7, when I came to retire to take care of my husband.
He passed away from,
In 1970.
and you raised your, know about Nora?
Yes, my youngest sister got killed in the accident. She left a little 2-year-old girl, and we raised her as a foster daughter. C-R-A-N-K. And her son is named Christopherson. He's just back from Saudi Arabia. California.
What branch of the service?
Marine.
Your second husband?
Jeff Wilkerson. I married him in 1953. He lived in Florence. He was a very faithful Christian. My daughter had been a Christian.
And the people that, you go to what church?
College Church of
About to run out of gas. About to give out. Those things are hidden.
Have is Lucy's daughter, Billy, and his wife, and now they'll speak to you.
I'm Sharon Dyston. I'm Billy's wife. I have been for 27 years. We have 2 sons. Wayne is 24 and Robert is 21. They both started educations but haven't finished it yet, so we're praying that they do. They're both Christians, and it's been a real joy bringing them up. And I'll let Bill tell you about his mother and his dad and his sister.
My mother couldn't come today. She's not very well. My sister's in the same position. She's not very well either, so she couldn't come. They both would like to have come. My mother's been talking about it quite a bit, but there was just no way we could get her here. So Sharon and I come down. We've taken a lot of pictures. She's listened. She'll be able to listen to a lot of people talk, and maybe that'll make her feel pretty good. Sharon and I live in Kokomo, Indiana. I left here when I was 16 years old. And sorry to say I've only been back 3 or 4 times, I guess. That's the most. We live outside the city of Kokomo. We're tree farmers. We raise trees. One boy is a manager for video land, and the other boy is studying to go into the real estate business. And that's about it. We've been together a long time. It's been a good life. My dad died October
21st.
October 21st year. And he was 78 years old. And we miss him a lot. I guess that's just about it. We're both still very active in the church. And that's foremost in our mind all the time. Everything else kind of comes around that. We've sure enjoyed coming down here. Really enjoyed it.
So glad you could come.
So many people I haven't seen in so many years.
Very good, thank you. The Bettises, and they'll tell you all about their family.
I'm Clara VanWinkle Bettis, and this is my husband Buford. And we recently retired and moved back to Arkansas. We have 2 children. Vicki lives in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, and Danny lives in Austin, Texas. And we've enjoyed being back in Arkansas with the ticks and the jiggers. And the hot, humid weather. No, it's great to be back. And
Two grandchildren.
I have 2 grandchildren, yes. Buford loves to fish, so he gets quite a bit of fishing in. And I just hang loose, mostly. And that's about all there is to our life now. You want to add anything?
You said it all. I'm the quiet one of the family, you can tell.
Not really.
Okay.
Okay, George and Bill and Damon. Damon, let me have.
Well, if I get grandkids, I'll probably get one.
Well, I wouldn't do without one. I had,
But I've given up on grandkids.
I got 2.
My kids like dogs.
I got a girl like that.
They won't your picture taken, Steve.
I'm telling you right now. These people have been hearing about this garden. They won't take my picture of the garden. Birds play.
Back seat will be fine, Georgie.
No, they're going to do George and Bill.
Oh, come on.
No, Bill won't come unless someone goes out there and twists his arm.
Mom's good about twisting.
Hey, why don't we introduce your family?
Doing? What are we doing?
I guess you're starting to get that in.
Well, are we talking to Lucy May or who are we
Is
talking to?
that,
Anybody wants to
Are we talking to Lucy May now?
is that turned off or is it out?
It's not on. The power up there on the top, Richard, there's a red button right there.
My family, Norman Marshall VanWinkle. This is my wife, Gracie Jean. We've been married 48 years. Daughter Phyllis, married to, what's that old man's name was? Jim Nelson. And my son, Larman D., and his son, Larman D., is here today with us. And there's no feuding going on in our family. I'm a coward. I wouldn't feud very well anyway. And we're all healthy and all make enough money to stay fat all the time. That's the main thing.
And that's enough.
Is that still? I thought you wanted to tell
No,
them.
that's enough. We can get George and Bill.
Take over. Take over. He's George and Bill.
That was quick. We didn't even have to say anything.
Didn't even have to introduce myself. That's fine.
They got the
Same thing? Tell about your family and all, what you're doing now, what you have done, that sort of thing. A lot of it you've already been over, but this is
You want
just...
to tell something I
but
missed?
just-
He don't have a thing. This is Bill, my husband, Damon, my boy. He'll talk for you.
What are we doing now?
We're just about the family.
Okay, we live in Springfield, Missouri, and what else? Well,
You go to school?
I go to school at Hillcrest High School. Go Hornets, and I'm a junior, 11th grade this year. I'll be graduating next year. I'll be going to Harding University. And what else? I don't know. This is about me. This is about you.
Okay, we're there at the reunion. I just want to say that we enjoyed the reunion. We're glad you all came. Especially last year. See you next year. You cut the thing off now. Hey?
You're fine. Okay. That's a pretty good record of who was here.
Who we like? Bring them on.
Hurry up.
This is
Aldous Nichols from the John Nichols and Myrtle VanWinkle family. We, of course, are in-laws and outlaws here together. I guess we grew up mostly in Sedgwick, Arkansas. But I want to relate one story of Grandpa's family. I never will forget, he was sitting on the porch reading the Bible. And we kids were playing, and I'm talking about, there was Aunt Bessie, Aunt Tabby, then some cousins, Elja and Viva VanWinkle. And we were running and playing. And some of us tripped over Grandpa's rocking chair and almost threw him off of the porch. And we learned right quick we didn't do that anymore. Grandpa had a way of teaching us things without being spanked every time. Anyhow, we always watched and paid a lot of attention to Grandpa and his reading. Never did disturb him. When he started reading and rocking in that big old rocking chair, we played at the back side of the house. From then on. Myrtle VanWinkle was very young when she passed away. I was the oldest. I was 14 years old. Marie was the third child. Elon was the second, and he was named after Grandpa. He was Elon Wiley Nichols. He was killed in 1968 in a car wreck in California. He lost a son 2 years later the same way in a car wreck. He has a daughter that lives in Fresno, California. And let's see, I have then, my father remarried after mother died. We have a sister, a half-sister, and two half-sisters and a brother. One lives in Sedgwick. My brother, half-brother lives in Sedgwick, and my oldest half-sister lives in Fontana, California, and the other one lives in Wayne, Michigan. So that is the family history on that side of the family.
Can you tell us about these people?
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 children. I have a son who's 45 years old this past year, or this year. I have a daughter that'll be 43. My daughter is mentally retarded. She lives in a state school in Texas, and she's a Special Olympian. I have remarried. I have a stepson who is a Down syndrome, and both of these are mentally 3 to 5 year old, but they enjoy traveling, and that's about all we do nowadays, is take them and go places. Loretta.
You have a granddaughter that graduates.
Oh yeah, I have a granddaughter that graduates first day of June, Julie Nichols. And I have a grandson who's 13 years old that'll graduate on the 30th. He's graduating into junior high.
Into high school?
Well, yeah, high school. I don't know if they call it junior high here or not. But anyhow, they're, okay, what else?
Your son preaches.
Well, yeah, he's a minister. He's a minister at the Church of Christ in Wills Point, Texas. He's been a minister since he was 16 years old. He started preaching when he was in high school. He graduated from Oklahoma Christian College in 3.5 years. By the time he graduated from high school, he's got a master's degree in education. So I spent 3.5 years in the military service in World War II. I spent 32 years in the medical profession as a medical technologist. and retired in 1973 from the Veterans Administration medical field. Since graduation, I thought I retired, but I didn't. I've been working harder ever since then, working in the profession. Any questions? On the end down there, we got Loretta.
Let Marie and Loretta talk
Okay.
for their families.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Marie Nichols Roberts. This is my husband Dick. And this is my daughter Patsy, and my daughter Kathy, and my only granddaughter Mary Beth Buchanan. And I have 4 grandsons. And one son and one other daughter that's not here. That's about it, I guess. Now, your turn, Loretta.
I'm Loretta Baumbright. I live in Irving, Texas. I'm the youngest of 4 children, Myrtles. I have 4 children. My only son is Down syndrome. He lives also at the state school in Denton, Texas. He's a member of the Special Olympics. And then I have 3 daughters and 5 grandchildren, 1 granddaughter and 4 grandsons. I worked 17 years in the medical field, and I turned to alternative medicine, and I've been have my own business, a health bookstore with specializing in herbs and alternative ways of healing the body. And this is my husband, Dwayne. He assists me in my work since he's retired from his work. And one of my girls lives in San Angelo, Texas, and the other 2 live in Irving, where I live. Is that about it?
They're not going to tell you, but I know. Dick Roberts is the elder in the church at MacArthur Street, Irving, Texas, and Church of Christ there. MacArthur Street, Church of Christ.
This Dick?
This Dick, right here.
Okay. I'm so happy.
Okay. Now, Dwayne is a deacon in the same congregation.
Amen. Wonderful.
We thought,
So, I can give a lot of it to the credit of my grandpa.
Your grandpa?
Because my mother and daddy was baptized right down here just below the bridge in the creek.
I was 2.
Well,
I was
it might have been the same.
50 years ago.
How many?
Over 50 years ago.
Well, this would have been over 50 because I was about 5 years old when that happened. And we moved, I believe, that same summer from Grandpa's place back to Sedgwick, Arkansas. Granddaddy and I rode in one wagon, and Mother and Daddy and my brother Elon was in the other one. It was a wagon train to Sedgwick.
Took 2 days.
It took 2 days, is right. We camped over here on a creek just out of Smithville. And we crossed Black River on a ferry boat that was pulled by a team across the river.
Isn't that wonderful?
Well, by any chance, did you just come here for the reunion, or are you visiting in this part of the country?
We came especially for this occasion.
Man alive, I didn't realize that you come that far away, and I was thinking Bill and Sharon, I was thinking we ought to all
Isn't
give
that
a group
wonderful?
hug to them, but look, these
That's
guys
wonderful.
this is full.
That's wonderful.
Can I have another piece of cake?
Yeah.
You might have. We're going to let you have another piece of cake.
Well, now, these 2 come from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That's about me. I'm from Springfield.
Well, just so happy you came.
We're only about 400, a little over 400 miles away. So that's
That's wonderful.
not too far.
We're so glad you came. Isn't that wonderful? I tell you. I want to tell you about my family. Anna, May, Mosier, VanWinkle, Rubling.
We can pay you,
And this is my mother's sister. There were 4 children, from Laura Agnes is the grandmother's name. And my mother was the oldest of the 4 children. I am the youngest of Ruth and Eldon Mosier. My oldest sister's Juanita. My oldest brother is Daryl. Juanita lives at Topeka, Kansas, and she has 2 daughters, and her husband's name is Terry. My brother-in-law is very ill at this time, and they was not able to make it this year. My oldest brother, Daryl Lewis Mosier, lives in Yakima, Washington. He was here the first year. He and his wife, Barbara, are both very ill and were unable to come this year. They have 1 son. My youngest brother, Kenneth Mosier, is in a nursing home. He was shell-shocked during World War II and was able to work until 1980, and now he's in a nursing home in my hometown. I have taken over as his legal guardian since he got ill. My husband is Arlie Rubling, and he was too ill to attend this year. My husband was a journeyman machinist until he retired, and I have been a beautician for 30 years and raised, well, I have a total of 6 sons, and my last 13 and a half years of working for the public was as an aircraft upholsterer for the interior of aircraft in St. Louis and for Rockwell International. The last 5 years I've spent, the last 10 years I've been taking care of my brother and my husband. I'm just so happy to be here today. And from all of my family, I really have enjoyed the reunion for them and me too. I'd be glad to let them know that I saw everybody and they all sent their love and best to everyone. So that's about all I have to say. My mother was our shining example. She was a Christian woman, and she raised all 4 of us by herself, and she passed away at 51. So her example has been my glowing thing for all of my life. And I'm a member of the Church of Christ in Troy, Missouri. And I'm the only one that has helped me through all of this is the good Lord. And I'm so glad to be here, and that's all I have to say. Here's 2 more that's not got on that yet. Who are you and who was your father?
My father was George VanWinkle. My mother was Ada Mann, M-A-N-N, Mann. And my mother died when I was 3 weeks old. And my grandparents, my grandpa and grandma Mann, raised me. And somehow I managed to marry him when I was 16 years old.
And your married name?
My married name is Grace Harvard. I'm married to Everett Harvard.
What year?
1934, which was about 56 or 57 years ago.
Okay. When were you born?
I was born October 18, 1918.
How long have you lived in here?
Oh, I've lived, you mean the last time I...
Well, where you are in Truck County.
Oh, well, we lived around after we married. And we moved away to several different places. Lived in Missouri, eastern Arkansas, lived at Thurston for quite a while. And then we moved back down to the farm in 1960. And we've been there ever since. We have 3 daughters. How many grandchildren?
What are your daughter's names and where do they live?
Our oldest daughter is Nancy Chapman. She lives in Modesto, California. Our second daughter is Betty Forey. She lives in Kansas. Spring Hill. I couldn't think of the name of that area. Spring Hill, Kansas. And our youngest daughter is Lita, and she lives up by Highland. She's a home economics teacher at Evening Shade High School.
What do the other two daughters do?
Our oldest daughter works for General Foods. She's worked for years. The other daughter is a bookkeeper at a firm. I'm not sure what the name of it is. And we have, let me count how many grandchildren. We have 5 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren. No, I don't think we have 5 great-grandchildren. We have 3 great-grandchildren. We have 5 grandchildren. 2 grandsons and 3 granddaughters. And they're all pretty good-sized children now. We have one little grandson that's 2 years old. He makes up for all the rest of
What have you done all your life, Everett, to make a living?
Oh, I've done everything nearly.
Well, tell us about it.
Farming and TV service for 20 years.
Where at? Where was your job?
Searcy.
At Searcy?
Searcy, Ocean.
And the last few years you farmed part-time? And how about cattle?
Cattle, mostly.
Cattle. You've been member of the church, or you member of the church, or you go to church, don't you? With her?
I go to church.
You go to church. And you've been a member of the church for how many years, Gracie?
All my life.
All your life.
Not quite.
And you
Since
go to
about 1932.
And y'all go to this church, Betty's church.
Right here.
It's your church. Faithful members. What is your hobby? What do you collect? Tell us about it.
Well,
Dogs.
You do a lot of quilting too, don't you?
I used to do
A lot of hobbies.
some now.
As long as you was able to.
I collect dogs.
Collect dogs.
Have a big collection of dogs.
You've been a housewife most of your life?
All of my life.
All of your life. And that is a big job, isn't it? It's the best job in the world.
It kept me
The
busy.
biggest job in the world.
Kept me busy.
And you're the the main ones that have gotten this reunion together. Is that correct? Yeah, you and Aunt Bessie. That's the reason we're getting
you had to be
together.
part.
No, I didn't. You did. All right.
Well, it takes everybody to make it in.
That's right. That's right. But the coming back to this home church has been a big drawing card too. Back to Sharp
We
County.
discussed that, before we set the place to heaven.
Back to Sharp County.
We decided it was kind of an old home place. Kind of homely for a lot of people. There was a schoolhouse here way back.
Yes.
A lot of older ones went to school here.
Yeah. Went to school and church.
And church. Then they had church in the old schoolhouse for years. And then we tore it down.
So really, it's like coming home
To
to a lot of people, and mostly to me, because the minute I cross the Arkansas border, I just relax and I say, I'm home. And I left here when I was 16 years old, and I've spent most of the rest of my life in and around St. Louis. But to me, Arkansas is home. I guess there's something about it's home. And when you cross that line and get close, you just relax just like you're back home. And a child again. I think it's the memories.
We've around different places for 15 years, I guess, during our married life. We finally come back and settle down on the farm. We've been there 30 years now.
Well, it's like Aunt Tabby's daughter, Geraldine. They spent 20 years in that beautiful Hawaii, and they came back to Arkansas to retire. Out of all the beautiful places they've been, this is home. This is home because Mother was born and raised here. And there's just, there's no explaining the feeling that you have for home.
We felt at home several different places. We left to live in several different places, I put it that way. But like you said, when we moved back, we came back home.
The feeling is there. It's, well, mostly where my children are, that is, to me, is where I want to be close to, so I can see them. But really, the roots of my childhood are here.
I guess
Our Walnut Ridge area.
if I was forced to leave my home here and had my choice of where I would go, I'd probably go back to Cersei.
Well, I had that. It was great.
Tell you our names. Jim Simpson, Buton Simpson. Live at Salem for the last 2 years. Lived in Indiana 39 years. 29 in the same house. All of our kids are still up. One of them's 20 miles north of Indianapolis, and one 25 miles north, and one right east, about 5 miles out of downtown. 13 grandkids. Daughter's oldest, she's got 2 girls and a boy. And the second boy, the oldest boy's got 5. 2 girls and 3 boys. And the youngest one's got 4 boys and 1 girl. He lives at Cicero, Indiana. She lives at Noblesville, and the other boy lives in Indianapolis. We got tired of working and sold our truck and our house and moved to Arkansas. Take life easy and chase fish and hunt. Can't beat it. Good place to live, I'll tell you. That's about all I noticed.
I might just add one little thing. He's Keither VanWinkle and Leslie VanWinkle's favorite son-in-law.
No, this son-in-law.
No doubt. He's a favorite. Without a doubt. That's all we want to say.
Yeah.
I don't like that thing.
We got everybody, dear?
Yeah, let's quit. Is it time?
Yeah. The end.